Today, we will talk about smart women don't always fall for power or success. They fall for potential. And that's the trap. She'll tell you she's different, that she doesn't care about status or money. She just wants a real connection. But here's the truth most men don't see until it's too late. She's not falling for who you are, she's falling for who she hopes you'll become. She thinks she's choosing love, but really she's signing up for a project. And when that illusion fades, when you're no longer exciting or full of promise, she'll quietly start to fade too. Not because she's evil, but because her feelings were never built on you. They were built on a version of you that lived only in her head. If you've ever looked at a woman and thought, she's way out of my league, stop right there. Because in this video, I'm breaking down the 5 phases that can flip that whole story around. These aren't tricks or fake confidence hacks. These are mindset shifts any man can apply to attract the kind of woman he never thought possible. Stay with me till the end because that's where I'll show you exactly how to use each phase in real life. And before we dive in, hit that like button and drop the first name of the woman you've been thinking about in the comments. By the end of this video, you'll see why no one is actually out of your league when you know how to lead with quiet confidence. Why this happens. Let's pull back for a second. Why do smart, self-aware women still make this mistake? Because emotionally, potential is exciting. It's like stepping into a story that isn't finished yet. She gets to imagine herself as part of your rise. She believes her support, her love, her encouragement will help you grow into that man she sees inside you. There's also the hidden ego in it. It feels powerful to see something others don't. She tells herself, he's misunderstood, but I get him. It makes her feel special, important, needed. But here's where it backfires. So much of her attraction depends on your future, not your present. And life doesn't always follow her script. If you don't become that man fast enough, if her patience runs out or her needs change, her admiration fades. Suddenly, she's not nurturing a dream anymore. She's trapped in a reality she doesn't want to fix. And sadly, this is when many men get blindsided. They thought they had something deep, something loyal, but when potential collapses, so does her interest. It's not always a conscious decision. It's emotional math. Her feelings don't line up anymore, so her behavior changes. That's why this video matters, because understanding this isn't about blaming women. It's about helping you see what's really happening when a woman says, I believe in you, and then later says, I just don't feel it anymore. Now, I'm going to break down exactly how this pattern unfolds inside her mind, step by step, emotion by emotion. You'll see the turning points most men miss, the moments where she shifts from dreamer to doubter, from lover to critic. And you'll understand why silence, distance, and self-growth are the ultimate responses when that shift happens. Because you can't out-talk disappointment. You can only outgrow it. Remember, sometimes the reason she left wasn't because you weren't enough. It's because you stopped matching the story she was telling herself. That story is powerful. But you're real. And once you understand that difference, you stop chasing approval and start living with purpose. All right, let's walk right through what actually happens inside her mind, step by step. This is the pattern no one talks about, but you've probably lived it without realizing. Phase 1, the vision phase. I see something special in you. At the start, she's not falling for what's in front of her. She's falling for what she imagines you could become. Every story you tell, every little goal you mention, she's already picturing the end result. It's like she's editing a movie where you're the main character and she's part of the script that makes you great. She feels emotionally rich just by believing in your future. It's exciting, it's romantic. It makes her feel alive. But here's the irony. You're not being loved for who you truly are. You're being believed in like a startup she invested emotional capital into. Phase 2, the builder phase. I can help him level up. Now she starts giving advice, encouraging, guiding, pushing. It feels supportive at first. She calls it being your ride or die. But deep inside, this is where control sneaks in. She doesn't realize it, but now her attraction depends on progress. As long as you're growing fast enough, she's inspired. But the moment growth slows down, she gets restless. Many men misread this phase. They think she's just motivating me. But no, she's attaching her value to how fast you become her vision. When that slows down, admiration fades. Phase 3, the frustration phase. Why isn't he changing fast enough? Here's where the tone shifts. Compliments turn into complaints. Support turns into advice you didn't ask for. She starts comparing. Other guys my age are doing this or that. The same potential that once drew her in now feels like a problem she's stuck trying to fix. This is the emotional turning point. You feel pressure, she feels drained. The relationship stops feeling like love and starts feeling like a self-improvement workshop. But you're not a project, you're a person. Phase 4, the doubt phase. Maybe he'll never become that man. Now her energy drops. She doesn't argue as much, she just disconnects. Text replies get shorter, voice colder, plans fewer. Don't mistake her silence for peace, it's resignation. She's emotionally checking out while still holding on to the fantasy in her head. Just in case you magically become her dream version overnight. Men often panic here. They sense her distance and start overcompensating. More attention, more reassurance, more effort, but that never works. Because effort on command doesn't reignite admiration. It only confirms her suspicion that you're reacting from fear, not power. Phase 5, the exit phase. I still care, but I can't keep waiting. By now, she'll frame it nicely. It's not you, it's timing. I need to focus on myself. It's just not clicking anymore. But what she really means is, the story in my head stopped matching the reality in front of me. And it hurts, for her and for you. Because what she fell in love with never fully existed. It was a potential version of you that both of you wanted to believe in. Alright, now we've broken down the 5 phases every woman goes through when she's deciding whether a man is worth her energy. Next, I'm going to show you exactly how to step into that mindset, the one that makes her see you differently, respect you instantly, and actually choose you. So don't skip ahead, watch till the end, because that's where I reveal the simple shifts that change everything. And hey, if you're new here, hit that like button and subscribe right now. This channel gives you daily insights into female psychology, red flags, green flags, attraction triggers, and everything that helps you understand women on a deeper level. Now, let's get into it. If you've ever been through this, understand this truth. You didn't fail. You just stopped playing a fantasy role you never signed up for. And that's why smart women keep repeating this cycle with different men, because they're not chasing love, they're chasing transformation. And when reality resists that chase, emotions crash. Now I'll dig deeper into the emotional fallout for you, what it feels like when she pulls away, and why your pain actually has meaning. Then we'll slowly start flipping the power back where it belongs, your side of the table. Because real strength isn't about trying harder. It's about standing firm when someone's fantasy falls apart in front of you. So what happens next, after she fades, after the connection breaks? You're left in the quiet. That's when it hits hardest. You start asking all the wrong questions. What did I do wrong? Why wasn't I enough? How did she stop caring so quickly? Here's the truth that hurts but saves. You weren't crazy. You weren't weak. You were real. You showed up as yourself while she built a dream around you. And when her dream dissolved, she couldn't separate you, the man, from the movie she directed in her head. That's not your fault. You didn't lose to another man. You lost to an illusion you were never supposed to live up to. Now, I want you to breathe that in. Because men are taught to fix things, to find the problem and patch it up. But when what's broken is an illusion, there's nothing to fix. That's why you feel empty after these kinds of breakups. Not because you lost love, but because you invested in someone who was in love with a version of you that never truly existed. The wound beneath the surface. When this happens, many men spiral. They turn blame inward. I should have worked harder. Or they turn it outward. All women are the same. Both are traps, because both keep you stuck in the reaction phase instead of the growth phase. See, her leaving didn't create your pain, it just brought it to the surface. That ache you feel, it's what happens when your self-worth was tied to her validation. You thought her belief in your potential meant you were finally being seen. But what she saw wasn't the full picture. She saw a highlight reel. And that's the real heartbreak. Realizing that your efforts, your loyalty, your late night talks weren't enough to transform her imagination into reality. That doesn't mean you're unworthy. It means your worth was never supposed to be earned through potential. It already existed as it is. Calm clarity and understanding the pattern. Once you see the pattern, it loses its power. At first, she's inspired by your spark. Then she ties her identity to your growth. When growth slows, her attraction turns into pressure. When pressure fails, she disconnects. You can't argue someone back into loving reality. You can only anchor yourself deeper into your own. That's what emotional strength actually means. Not chasing, not pleasing, simply standing tall in the storm until the wind runs out of things to blow over. And when it does, you'll notice something wild. The peace that shows up is louder than the chaos that left. Soft truth. Why you're not crazy for missing her. You'll miss her. Of course you will. You weren't in love with the fantasy. You were in love with the moments that felt real. And that's okay. It makes you human. She might check in sometime just to see how you're doing. But remember, checking in isn't the same as changing. She's just revisiting that warm memory of potential she once believed in. You are not her unfinished project. You are your own masterpiece in progress. That quiet power you feel when you stop chasing? That's you stepping back into your natural energy, the kind that doesn't need to be believed in to be valuable. Now you'll see what happens when a man reacts not with begging or bitterness, but with a kind of calm silence that unsettles her more than any argument ever could. Because nothing haunts someone like the quiet confidence of the man they underestimated. The quiet shift. Here's where everything changes. Up to now, you've been reacting to loss. But this next part? It's about reclaiming leadership over your own story. When she walks away, she expects noise. She expects reaction, calls, messages, questions. She expects to still feel needed. But instead, you go quiet, not cold, not bitter, just still. And that silence, it says everything she never expected to hear. Because when you stop chasing, something inside her starts to turn. At first, she tells herself she's fine, but deep down, her mind starts to wander. She remembers how it felt when you believed in yourself, when you didn't need her reassurance, and that's the twist most men never see coming. Your absence creates the reflection she avoided. The regret mechanism, how the switch flips in her mind. When you're gone, she doesn't just miss your presence. She starts comparing. She remembers your energy, your dedication, your depth. And the next guy? He might have the looks or the charm, but he doesn't have your substance. That's when the regret kicks in, not because she suddenly understands it all, but because your silence made her realize something. She underestimated you. See, silence carries power most men never learn to use. It's not punishment, it's proof. Proof that you're grounded enough to let her go, because you finally stopped trying to convince anyone of your value. You've started to embody it. And when you move like that, calm, focused, unbothered, it shakes her world more than any argument ever could. The self-respect loop. Why you're winning without competing. When you shift focus from her to your purpose, you stop orbiting her approval. You've broken the loop of chasing validation. Instead of checking her social media, you're hitting the gym. Instead of replaying old texts, you're planning your next move. Instead of feeling like you lost something, you realize you gained clarity. You become the man she once imagined. But here's the catch. You're no longer doing it for her. And that's when your energy becomes magnetic again. Because nothing attracts like peace. Peace is rare. Peace is powerful. Peace is what men with self-respect give off without saying a word. You start standing taller, smiling differently, moving with purpose. Not the I'll show her kind of growth, but the I've got better things to build kind. And the moment you live that truth, life responds. Opportunities open up, new connections appear, because confidence is loud, even in silence. The unexpected twist, her return or her reflection. And then, maybe weeks or months later, you'll get that message. A casual, "Hey, how have you been?" It always sounds innocent, but it's not. It's curiosity mixed with regret. She's wondering if the version of you she built in her mind ever became real. And the irony, You did become that man, just not for her approval. Now you don't need revenge or validation. Your silence was your statement. Your growth was your response. And whether she admits it or not, she feels it. Because while she was chasing potential, you became it. Now, we bring this full circle. You'll see why this isn't just about relationships. It's about your identity, your peace, and your direction forward. You'll learn how to guard your energy, build real self respect that doesn't bend, and step into the kind of life where being believed in isn't necessary because you believe in yourself. Rebuilding from within, now we bring it home. This is where pain turns into power, where loss transforms into direction. You've seen the pattern, you've watched the rise and fall of potential. But now the story's different because you're the story. See, what you went through wasn't wasted time. It was training. Not in romance, but in awareness. You learned the price of giving all your energy to being seen instead of becoming. You learned what happens when you try to earn emotional loyalty through effort alone. You learned what love looks like when it's driven by imagination instead of reality. And that's wisdom. Because after going through that, you can't go back to being naive. Not about women, not about yourself, not about how connection really works. The new chapter for you is simple but powerful. You stop performing, you stop proving, you start building. Reclaiming your core energy. Every man has a natural gravity. It's that calm pull people feel when he's living with purpose. You don't have to chase attention when you're aligned with what drives you. Start small. Your health, your craft, your focus. The point isn't to become better for anyone. It's to fall back in love with your own progress, not someone else's approval. Remember when you first had goals just for yourself? When learning something new or improving felt exciting, not pressured. That's the energy women actually respond to. The grounded, self-directed version of you that doesn't need to be convinced he's valuable. That's your power source. And that's what her leaving was supposed to remind you of. Because sometimes, heartbreak is life's most brutal teacher, but also its most honest one. The new standard, what you accept and what you don't. From this moment on, you set the tone. No more being chosen out of pity or potential. No more waiting to be discovered. You attract through direction, not need. When the next woman enters your life, you'll feel the difference. She won't need to build you. She'll recognize you. She'll see a man already on his path, not a project waiting to be fixed. And you'll respond differently too. You won't fall for validation disguised as care. You'll look for consistency, peace, depth. Because once you've seen the cycle, you no longer participate in it. That's what real maturity feels like. It's quiet, patient, and deeply confident. The full circle moment. She thought she was the chooser. The irony? The same woman who once believed she had the emotional high ground, the one who thought she was helping you become, will have her moment of reflection too. Because when she sees you moving forward, calm and focused, something hits her. You didn't fall apart. You became everything she thought she wanted, without her guidance. That's the bittersweet part of growth. The very thing that made her leave becomes the reason she regrets it. But by then, your heart will be somewhere else. Not chasing closure, but building your own peace. Now I want you to sit with this one question. Were you ever truly less? Or did someone just fail to see your now because they were too obsessed with your later? Think about it. Because the moment you stop waiting to be seen in your potential, you start being respected for your reality. And that's when true confidence begins. When you live so focused, so steady, that nobody's belief or disbelief can shake your direction. That's the lesson behind every heartbreak with a purpose. You stop chasing dreams written by someone else, and you start living the one that's been waiting inside you all along. So walk forward quietly with that mix of peace and fire. No anger, no proving, just purpose. Because the man who no longer needs to be believed in is the one who finally becomes unstoppable. So now you know the reason smart women chase potential and how to turn that whole dynamic around by becoming the man who doesn't need to be believed in because he already knows his own worth. If this message hit you, drop a like right now and tell me in the comments what part of this breakdown opened your eyes the most. And if you're new here, make sure you subscribe. This channel is built for men who are done guessing and ready to understand how women really think. Before you go, don't stop learning. Watch this next video. 7 things women do only for the men they love. It'll open your eyes to the small, powerful signs that show when a woman's feelings are actually real. Keep growing, keep calm, and keep leading with quiet confidence, because that's what makes you unforgettable.